Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well and you are preparing pretty well because only 6 days are left for the DBT JRF examination. 26 of the free BET crash course in which I am going to discuss some of the important factual topics, and this is a rapid mega session in which you will be going to revise all the important topics that can be asked in this upcoming exam. I have compiled so many important topics and so many important flashcards as well as the tabular form data and the diagrams from different standard books, so you can revise it quickly and do include it in your notes and revise it regularly. So if you like my efforts, hit the like button and subscribe my channel if you want more. So our first topic of today's session is very much important, and that is from genetics portion, including the pedigree analysis. You have seen so many pedigree charts in your previous year examination of CSIR as well as DBT also. So how to determine that whether the inheritance pattern showing is autosomal dominant or autosomal recessive, or X-linked dominant or X-linked recessive, and also it can be Y-linked trait. So how to determine that whether the inheritance pattern showing is representing the autosomal dominant recessive, X-linked dominant, X-linked recessive, or whether it is Y-linked. So there are some tricks. By observing that characterizing feature, you will be able to recall that which inheritance pattern is showing through the pedigree chart. So let's start discussing one by one. So firstly, we will discuss the characterizing feature of autosomal dominant trait. So if you want to determine that whether the inheritance pattern is of autosomal dominant trait, so there are two characterizing features mainly. So for the autosomal dominant, you should be aware of two facts. The number one is it should appear equally in both males and females. It means there are equal chances that the trait will be carried equally in both the males and in the females too. And also the trait will not skip any generation. The trait will not skip any generation. You can see here in this figure also. You can see here in this pedigree chart only, no generation is skipped. Like in this first generation, the female parent is affected. In the second generation, both male as well as female is affected. And in third generation also, female, male, and here also two females are affected. And in the fourth generation, both males are affected. It means there is no skipping of any generation, and that is the recognizing feature of a autosomal dominant trait. It means it will appear in both the sexes, that is male और female में दोनों में ही होने के chances है equally, and also it will not skip any generation. So these are the two characterizing feature of autosomal dominant trait. Now how to determine that whether the inheritance pattern is of autosomal recessive trait. So if it is autosomal recessive trait, the two characterizing features are, number one, that as the autosomal dominant trait, it will appear in both the sexes with equal frequency. That is, male and female will be equally affected. The trait will be, the frequency of carrying the trait in males is equal to the trait carrying in the females. यानी दोनों में ही होने के equal chances है, but the difference is it seems to skip generation. Now you can see here in this inheritance pattern, in the first generation, the mother and the father are not affected. They are not carrying any kind of disease trait. But in the second generation, you can see one female child is affected, and in the third generation, all are normal, and in the fourth generation, one male is affected. It means they tend to skip a generation. Autosomal recessive trait tends to skip generation, and there are equal chances of appearance equally in males and in females. And also autosomal traits are more likely to appear among progenies of related individuals. Now, these are the characterizing features of autosomal recessive. Now let's move on to the X-linked recessive and X-linked dominant. Now these are the characterizing feature of X-linked recessive. So this is X-linked recessive. So the characterizing feature of X-linked recessive is that the males are more prone of that trait as compared to the females. It means the X-linked recessive traits are appear more often in males than in females. And the second characterizing feature is they are not passed from father to son. यानी कि दो जो characterizing feature X linked recessive traits के लिए होता है वो ये होता है कि वो बहुत ज़्यादा प्रोन होते हैं मेल्स में होने के लिए एज कम्पेयर टू द फीमेल्स. एंड नेक्स्ट जो है इट इज़ नॉट पास फ्रॉम फादर टू सन, यानी फादर से सन को पास नहीं होता है. हियर यू कैन सी हियर द फीमेल इज द carrier only. It means it is unaffected of that trait or disease, and the disease will be transfer or inherited from the carrier or unaffected female to the male child, because the father will not carry forward the trait to the son. And also the males are more prone for this disease. That is, this point, X-linked recessive traits appear more frequently in males as compared to the females. One more point, the affected male does not pass the trait to his son but can pass the allele to a daughter who is unaffected. It means it can pass the trait to a female who can be a carrier or unaffected of that particular disease. So this is the characterizing feature of X-linked recessive. Now let's move on to the X-linked dominant. So for the X-linked dominant, there is an equal chances of both male and female who can be suffered from that trait or that disease. So the X-linked dominant trait affect both males and females equally, and an affected male must have an affected mother. It means the affected male offspring should have affected mother. यानी जो सन affected है, जो male affected है, उसकी mother affected होनी चाहिए. Here you can see, यहाँ पे ये जो फीमेल है वो अफेक्टेड है एंड इसीलिए इसके सन्स भी अफेक्टेड है. एंड ऑल्सो अफेक्टेड फीमेल्स इफ हेट्रोजाइगोट पास द ट्रेट ऑन टू हाफ ऑफ देयर सन एंड हाफ ऑफ देयर डॉटर्स. यानी कि जो अफेक्टेड फीमेल्स है, इफ इट इज़ हेट्रोजाइगोट फॉर द ट्रेट देन इट विल पास द ट्रेट 50% to their sons and 50% to their daughters. And X-linked dominant trait do not skip generation. You can see हर generation की कोई ना कोई children's affected है. And also affected male pass the trait on to all their daughters and none of their sons. जो मेल है affected male, उसने सभी females को trait transfer किया है and males को transfer नहीं किया है. Males का transfer कहाँ से होता है disease का? It is transmitted from the affected mother. So this is the characterizing feature of X-linked dominant. Now Y-linked trait. So the Y-linked trait का जो characterizing feature होता है that it appears only in males and are passed from father to all the sons. It means the Y-linked trait appear only in males, सिर्फ males में ही देखने को मिलेगा, and all the male offsprings of an affected male are affected. It means if the first generation father is affected, then the children's will also be affected in the second generation as well as in the third generation. And this is the characterizing feature is that only males will be affected and not the females. So this is the characterizing feature of Y-linked trait. Now let's solve a question to solve our all doubts that how a pedigree inheritance pattern can be determined through our previous knowledge. So in this question it is asked that the following pedigree represents the inheritance of a rare disorder in an extended family. What is the most likely mode of inheritance for this disease? You have to mention that the inheritance pattern showing is of autosomal dominant or autosomal recessive or X-linked dominant or X-linked recessive, or either it is Y-linked. So out of the 5 inheritance pattern, you have to find out that which of the following inheritance pattern is showing through the pedigree chart given in the question. So let's find out that how to solve this type of question. So there is a trick that you should apply all the traits that are possible. That we have 5 traits like autosomal dominant recessive, X-linked dominant recessive and Y-linked. So you have to find out that whether it is autosomal dominant, if not why it is so, and if it is autosomal recessive, why it is so. And likewise you have to eliminate each of the option to get to the correct answer. So let's solve step by step. So the first option is whether it is autosomal dominant or not. or autosomal recessive or not. So to find out that whether the inheritance pattern is of autosomal trait, whether it is dominant, let's say, or recessive, so this cannot be of autosomal dominant or recessive, because we have just now studied that in the autosomal dominant and the autosomal recessive, the both males and females have an equal chance of that particular disease or trait. यानी कि मेल और फीमेल जितने भी होते हैं उन दोनों को इक्वल चांसेस हैं कि वो ट्रेट उनमें हो सकता है या वो डिजीज़ उनमें हो सकता है. तो यहाँ पे हमें देखने को मिल रहा है इस पेडिग्री चार्ट पे कि ओनली दी मेल चाइल्ड्स आर अफेक्टेड एंड नॉट दी फीमेल्स. यानी कोई भी जनरेशन के फीमेल्स अफेक्टेड नहीं है. इट मीन्स कि इक्वल बैलेंस नहीं है, यानी मेल एंड फीमेल्स दोनों के पास इक्वल चांसेस नहीं है वो ट्रेट कैरी करने के लिए. देन डेफिनेटली ये जो है वो ऑटोसोमल डोमिनेंट एंड रिसेसिव नहीं हो सकता, बिकॉज वी हैव रेड दैट in autosomal dominant as well as in autosomal recessive there are an equal chances of that disease in both males and in females. So ये दोनों ऑप्शन हमारे एलिमिनेट हो गए. Now whether it is autosomal X-linked dominant or X-linked recessive or Y-linked. Now for the Y-linked we have studied that it is the trait which appears in all males. So ये वाला देखते हैं कि Y-linked हो सकता है या नहीं. So you can see here कि जो वाइलिंग ट्रेट है उसमें हर जनरेशन के मेल्स अफेक्टेड होने चाहिए एंड ऑल्सो द फादर शुड बी अफेक्टेड. तो यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं कि फर्स्ट जनरेशन का जो फादर है वो क्या है, अनअफेक्टेड है. तो ये वाइल्ड लिंक्ड भी नहीं हो सकता है. नाउ आंसर कैन बी एक्स लिंक्ड डोमिनेंट और एक्स लिंक्ड रिसेसिव. तो यहाँ पे देख लेते हैं वाइल्ड लिंक क्यों नहीं हुआ. बिकॉज इन वाइल्ड लिंक ऑल मेल ऑफस्प्रिंग्स शुड हैव द अफेक्टेड मेल. एंड यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं कि फर्स्ट जनरेशन के मेल पेरेंट जो है, मेल फादर जो है वो क्या है, अनअफेक्टेड है. देयरफॉर ये वाइल्ड लिंक्ड भी नहीं हो सकता है. नाउ लेट्स फाइंड आउट एक्स लिंक्ड डोमिनेंट और एक्स लिंक्ड रिसेसिव. Now this cannot be X-linked dominant. Why it is so? Because in X-linked dominant also we have studied that the disease chances are equal in male and female, and here you can see only the male childs are affected, and therefore this cannot be X-linked dominant. यानी X-linked dominant भी जो है ये भी ऑप्शन कैंसिल हो गया. Now हम आंसर तक तो पहुंच गए. इट इज X-linked recessive. Now let's see detail. Now this is a chart of how an X-linked recessive traits looks. So X-linked recessive traits are not prone to the common chances that it can be occur with equal frequencies in both male and female. यानी कि ऐसा नहीं होता है कि X-linked trait जो है वो equally ही appear हो male and female में. Instead the males are more prone to the disease. X-linked trait में we can say that the males are more prone to the disease, and here in the inheritance pattern also you can see females unaffected है and males are affected. So the inheritance pattern showing was X-linked recessive because it appears more frequently in males than in female. So this is how you can come to the correct option by eliminating the incorrect option. So हमेशा आपका अप्रोच इन सब क्वेश्चंस में क्या होना चाहिए कि पूरे 5 जो ऑप्शंस हैं उसको हम लिखें एंड पूरे 5 ऑप्शंस में से क्यों वो नहीं हो सकता है पहले उसको वर्कआउट करें एंड देन वी विल अल्टीमेटली कम टू द करेक्ट ऑप्शन. सो आई होप आपको ये पेडिग्री समझ आया होगा. अगर आपको समझ नहीं आया है सो प्रीवियस जाके फिर से ये देखिए ये पूरा पार्ट, देन यू विल बी एबल टू वर्कआउट. नाउ द नेक्स्ट टॉपिक इज सिलेक्टेबल मार्कर जीन्स यूज्ड फॉर द जीन ट्रांसफर अलॉन्ग विथ इट्स सबस्ट्रेट. So many times it is asked that what are the different substrate used for a particular selectable marker gene. So if we talk about the neomycin phosphotransferase, the G418 kanamycin, neomycin or paromycin is used. And if we talk about the hygromycin phosphotransferase, that is HPT, so hygromycin B is used as a substrate. Now for the sulfonamide resistant sulfadiazine is used, and for the gentamicin is used, and streptomycin phosphotransferase, that is SPT. So for SPT, streptomycin is used as a substrate, and this PPT stands for phosphothreonine acetyltransferase. So for the phosphothreonine, the PPT is used, and for the EPSP, that is the 5-enol pyramidal shikimate 3-phosphate, I have already taught this in my previous video, which is commonly known as glyphosate. So I am again repeating that all these topics are mentioned in my previous from day 1 to day 25 video. So kindly go and watch that video to gain insights of the topic, because अलग अलग सिंगल डे में मैंने बहुत सारे इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स को पढ़ाया है एंड इंक्लूड किया है अपने हर वीडियो में. सो यू कैन चेक इट आउट फॉर द डिटेल एनालिसिस एंड फॉर द डिटेल नोट्स. आई एम हियर फॉर द क्विक एनालिसिस और द रैपिड रिविजन ऑफ व्हाट इट कैन बी आस्क्ड इन दिस अपकमिंग एग्जाम. सो अगर आपको डिटेल पढ़ना है सो मैं यहाँ पे लिंक प्रोवाइड कर दूँगी, यू कैन चेक इट आउट. एंड ऑल्सो हर डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में लिंक प्रोवाइड कर दी हूँ. सो जिन्हें पढ़ना है आप क्लिक करके वहाँ से पढ़ सकते हैं. Now for the bromoxynil nitrilase, that is BXN, bromoxynil is used as a substrate, and for the dehalogenase gene Delepon is used. So you have to remember all these substrate for the important selectable marker. I have already tick marked that which can be asked, so you can memorize it. So apart from that, in plant biotechnology only, this is the third topic of today's session, that is the molecular marker. So there are fair chances that the molecular marker can be asked, like the non-primer or the non-PCR based and the PCR based marker. So you all know that RFLP is the non-PCR based, and all the other three, that is RAPD, AFLP and sequence tagged microsatellites, are PCR based marker. So this table shows that how RFLP differs from all these three. So the first, you have to remember the principle. So the RAPD is definitely based on PCR based, so it is based on the DNA amplification, and the RFLP is based on restriction digestion, and AFLP as well as the STS is based on the DNA amplification procedure, and the detection method is based on the DNA staining in case of RAPD, AFLP and sequence tagged microsatellites, but it is sudden blotting in case of RFLP. And apart from that, how is the DNA quality required for the whole process? So it can be crude in case of the RAPD, that is PCR based. It should be of high purity in case of RFLP. And whether the primers are required, so obviously these three are, that RAPD, AFLP and STS are the PCR based. So all these three require PCR, but the RFLP do not require any primer. And if we talk about the dominant and codominant rate, this is the important, because this can be asked definitely in the set examination or in the CSIR or in the DBT itself in the match the calling format, that the RAPD is a dominant marker and the RFLP is the codominant and AFLP is the either dominant or it can act as a codominant, and the sequence tagged microsatellites are codominant. And apart from that, reliability, that how much the result is reliable. So it is intermediate in case of RAPD, it is of highly reliable in RFLP, and also in AFLP and sequence tagged microsatellite, the result obtained is highly reliable. And the recurring cost, it is very much low in RAPD, high in RFLP because so much instrumentation is involved, and AFLP में medium, and in sequence tagged microsatellite it is low. So whether the use of radioisotope is possible in RAPD, so no primers are required. In RFLP it is important and it can be used, and it cannot be used in RFLP, and same in the sequence tagged microsatellite. So this is the comparative analysis, and you have to focus on the important point which I just mentioned, and you can take screenshot and include it in your notes. So this type of question can be definitely asked either in the CSIR. You have seen so many times this question, like the cleavage site of some of the important proteases. So you have to remember it, and you can take screenshot either. So the cleavage site of trypsin is particularly the carboxyl end of lysine and arginine residue, and for the chymotrypsin it is phenylalanine, tryptophan and tyrosine of the carboxy terminal. And if we talk about the cyanogen bromide, so it is carboxy terminal of methionine residue particularly. And apart from this, the cleavage site of pepsine is just opposite of the chymotrypsin, that is the amino terminal of phenylalanine, tryptophan and tyrosine. So this is little bit confusing. For chymotrypsin you can remember through C for chymotrypsin, and C cuts at the carboxy terminal, and for the pepsine So pepsine ends with N, and for that it cuts at the amino terminal. So this is how I remembered it, and you can also apply this trick. So include this in your notes. This can be definitely asked. अगर ये DBT में नहीं आया तो CSR में तो definitely आ सकता है, either in the B section if it is asked in individual, and अगर collective आएगा तो it will be asked in the match the column format. So now one more important question that can be asked from the nucleotides or the DNA section, that is the comparative analysis of A form, B form and Z form of DNA. You should remember, because this is very, very, very important part. So if you talk about the helical sense, so the A form and B form are both right-handed and only the Z form is left-handed. And apart from that, you have to remember the base pairs per helical turn of each of the DNA. So it is 11 in A form, 10.5 in B form and 12 in Z form. So it is higher in the Z form per helical turn, and it is lowest in the B form, that is 10.5 base pairs only. And if we talk about the sugar puckering, which is very, very, very important, because this is asked so many times in B section of CSIR. So you have to remember that it is C3 endo for the A form of DNA, and it is C2 endo in the B form, and it is C2 endo for the pyrimidines and C3 endo for the purines. And if we talk about the glycosyl bond conformation, so it is NT for the A form and NT again for the B form, and it is NT for the pyrimidine and SYN for the purine. So you have to remember that the differences are so much extreme in the Z form. यानी कि पर्सनली आपको याद अगर रखना है तो ट्रिक ये अपनाइए कि Z फॉर्म में जो है वो चीज़ें एक्सट्रीम है, बिकॉज जो A और B है वो कहीं ना कहीं थोड़े सिमिलर हैं, एंड जो Z फॉर्म है दैट इज़ टोटली डिफरेंट फ्रॉम A एंड B फॉर्म. सो यू कैन रिमेंबर द एग्जैक्ट डिफरेंस ऑफ द Z फॉर्म टू learn all the 3 differences that I have mentioned. So do include it in your notes, and definitely ये वाला करके जाइए, because this can be asked this time.